absolutely. There is a genocide going on there, and we hear so little about it in the media that just to say, I come, I forget about it constantly.
And just all the things that are happening in Darfur.
Yeah.
Are so outrageous and so inhumane and are, in truth, war crimes of the highest order.
Yeah.
That this is how the mental state of our so-called elected leaders, this is what they believe the most strongly. This is what they try to go for in the most strongest way possible, is to affect these populations so that they cannot thrive and succeed as the years and decades pass.
Yeah. One area I always like to dive into with my guests is, of course, it's always interesting to speak about the future and possible scenarios of what is going to be on the horizon in the years ahead here. But I guess you are familiar with the year 2012 and all the things surrounding that. And if you are, what's your take on it?
Well, my personal take on this is that it represents an end of a cycle, and it represents an increase of global consciousness, of our spiritual advancement, pretty much. And this is the very same reason, because 2012 does represent an end of the current dark age that we're in intellectually and spiritually, that what we're going to see as we get closer and closer to 2012 is that these globalists, these illuminists, are going to, for lack of a better way of saying it, is they're going to be at war with spiritual advancement.
Interesting.
That, I personally believe, is the reason why things like marijuana, LSD, are illegal, because people who have used those two substances have talked about advanced spirituality as part of the experience.
Interesting. Do you think that do you view this on a positive note? Do you think that we will make it? I guess because again, it feels like we are in this crossroads here in the years up ahead. We could either be faced with a global controlled 1984 / a Brave New World Order type scenario, or we could, I guess, become more free or liberated because of all of the garbage that are going on now. So we have to kind of stand up and again take our responsibility for life and take back what we have given away, I guess.
Well, I believe that the underlying theme here is that we ultimately will prevail here. And people like Freeman, of the Freeman perspective, are here for specific reasons to remind us of this forthcoming heritage of our spirituality, which is ours to take back from these people who exist to, fight us at every step of the way, and to fight every single bit of advancement. In fact, some of the documents that I've uncovered with the Illuminati talk about specifically what they try to do is they try to halt, slow down, or discourage spiritual advancement as one of their higher level goals.
Yeah.
And so the more that we see people like David Icke, who started off with all this heavy politics and so forth, But now he's talking about his experience in the Peruvian rainforest.
Yeah.
All the spiritual advancement that has come to his life as an result of that experience.
Yeah.
We see the emergence of people like Michael Tessarian and Freeman, who are here to tell us that, there is another way to do this. And ultimately, we manifest our own reality.
Mm.
If you sit here and you say, I'm afraid to go outside because there might be a nuke somewhere waiting for me, you're not going to have a very productive life. But if you can get past that BS and you can come to terms with your own spirituality and what it represents to your life as it exists, you will soon understand that the chances of you running into that nuke are very slim indeed.
Yeah.
And therefore your life takes on a whole other level of meaning.
I totally agree. One of the tools that we have now to, expose the agenda and to help us grow, to first and foremost get information on a lot of these topics, to, eventually make our own minds up about all this, is of course the internet. And if I'm not mistaken, you have written a bit about this, regarding the efforts to try to control the internet, I guess, and also we have the idea about Internet 2 and stuff like this. Do you have any, what's your take on this?
Well, Internet 2 is designed to be as they're describing this, is the superpowered internet, and it's supposed to be like, this internet on steroids, if you will. But on one other level, it also built into this system is a method of filtering through the user base to where they will be able to pick and choose who gets to participate in this Internet 2 situation.
Yeah.
And they are going to price a lot of people out of the Internet experience, because I've heard things about taxing email. I've heard things about taxing bandwidth. If you download a certain amount of, content from the internet, you get billed some ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not going to quote any particular figures, because what those figures are have not been released yet. But the internet happens to be number one on their agenda in terms of fighting at the moment.
Yeah.
And this was discussed at this past year's Bilderberg Group conference.
Oh.
And this was discussed in terms of we have to do something about these patriots on the internet.
Yeah.
They're presenting a big problem to us at the moment.
Yeah. So it shows.
That's the reason why we see so many disinformations, agents provocateur, and what we refer to as useful idiots out there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It takes a lot of time to kind of wade through all the nonsense out there and kind of get to the real, the good stuff, the juicy stuff, because it's there, as you say, it seems to be like an agenda or a way to I guess further confuse people. Is just to flood basically the internet with a lot of garbage, so people are actually having a difficult time sorting out the truth from the non-truth, so to speak.
Yeah,